those of you who know me well, you know that I will never willingly speak in front of a small crowd, let alone this. But I figured, if I can go through what I have been through in the past 6 months, I could stand up here and talk to you. Please bear with me. If for some reason I get emotional or choked up, everything tenses in my throat, and my voice prosthesis will not work so well. If you have any questions, please see me afterwards and I'll be happy to explain to you anything that you need to know. My new voice really is amazing, and I am blown away by what the doctors can do now. 10 years ago, I would have sounded very different after surgery. Let me first start by telling you how unlucky I am. Recently I went to see my doctor, the doctor in London that saved my life. It was a regular checkup. He had some students with him. He pulled out my notes, and he said to those students, take a good look at this picture of Julie's voice box before surgery. You will never see this again in your lifetime. That is how rare my cancer is. In the location where it was. Unlucky. I wonder if you'll be able to tell why I feel so lucky after I finish talking. I came to Canada from England 19 years ago as a nanny with no cares in the world. I met my husband and stayed, much to my sister's disgust. I promised her I'd only stay in Canada for a year. I now have 2 fabulous children, and if you are a parent, or if you work with children, no one, actually everybody knows, children get sore throats, colds, and strep throat. And this is where my story begins. 4 years ago, my daughter came home from school with a sore throat. It lasted a few days, and then she started to get a fever. The doctor said he was sure it was strep. Great. While the doctor was swabbing her throat, I thought I'd better get mine checked too. I had had a sore throat for a couple of days, and you know strep is really contagious, right? The doctor looked at my throat and said it doesn't look like strep. Probably viral. Just wait it out. My daughter's strep came and went. My sore throat stayed. I began to get used to it, and it wasn't until I started to have problems swallowing steak that I thought I'd better get it checked out again. This time my family doctor referred me to a nose, ear, throat specialist, who by the end of the appointment told me everything was okay, it looked normal. He referred me to a gastro specialist, and so it went on for 4 years. I would wait a while, see my doctor, and he would send me to somebody else, until I could hardly speak. I could not drink water without choking on it, and yes, my throat was still sore. This is when I was sent to a neurologist. He was the first doctor that actually said, "You don't sound right." He asked if I'd had any scans, ultrasound, CAT scan, MRI. When I said no to all of them, he looked kind of shocked, but he recovered well. He said he was going to send me for a CAT scan, and then maybe an MRI. When the results came in, he called me and said there is something there around your vocal cords. We don't know what it is. I went to see the ears, nose, throat doctor. He put a camera down my throat and said, yes, things have definitely changed. He took a biopsy and the results came back cancer-free. I was so relieved. That was the question that I had asked every doctor that I had been to. Could it be cancer? He told me that because of the location of the tumour, he wanted to send me to a cancer surgeon in London who would have experience to remove it, because it was in such an awkward place. When I met Dr. Fung in London, he looked at the tumour and said the biopsy that was taken was not deep enough. We would have to take another one. In December, my son was about to go to his karate Christmas party. I had a call that changed everything. Dr. Fung called to say the result showed it was cancer. I was to have a total laryngectomy in less than a month. I broke down. My kids just stared at me, not knowing what was going on, and Joe, my husband, just held me while I cried. We told the children that I had to go back for surgery, and it scared me. They had seen me in pain before from the biopsy, so they knew. And bless them, they gave me hugs and said they understood. And, Mummy, it will be okay. We went to the party. My best friend Vicky looked at me and asked what had happened, and in the car park I told her. Within a few minutes, everything was organised for me. I was in a complete daze. I don't think Jo was much better. She took care of my children that night and spoke to Jo, and I later when the kids had gone to bed. My mum had just arrived from England to move to Canada, so now I could rely on her too. January came by too soon. I had spoken to a lady, Kathy, a new friend, who had gone through the same cancer that I had in the same place. She recommended that I take myself reading some stories to my children. I stayed up late for nights, and what started off as "choose your favourite book for Mummy to read to you" ended up with me pulling my favourite books off the shelf. I have worked with young children for over 20 years. It was a lot of books. I taped messages for my children, my husband, my mum, my sister, my best friend, and even a good friend at work, who loved my English accent and loved how I said water. We had lots of meetings with Dr. Fung and my medical team. I don't think I took one word in. Vicky, on the other hand, soaked it all up, made notes, gave me a binder of information. I really don't know what I would have done without her. Dr. Fung told me all about how I would still breathe and eat and talk, just in a different way. He showed me diagrams of how my throat would look after. Again, I don't think I took much of that in either. It wasn't really until he told me that I would never be able to swim again that I finally broke down and cried in his office. I love swimming. My work friends got together. They wanted to do something special for me and my family, so they sent us to Great Wolf Lodge, and I swam for what I knew would be the last time. I had spoken to another friend, telling her that I would love to have some pictures taken before surgery, before I had the new attachments in my throat. She found me a wonderful photographer, but when she heard my story, she would not let me pay. Another new friend. Before surgery, Vicky pulled me aside. "I want to make a Facebook page for your friends and family back home. We can post updates." Now Vicky knows me well. I don't post pictures of my children on Facebook. She made a private, closed Facebook page, invite only. She called it Hope for Julie, and I had 90 people, friends and family, all over the the world, following me, getting updates. In the end, that Facebook page was not only for them, but it was also for me. The words of faith and encouragement that I had from all over the world, from my friends, was amazing. I had many letters and cards, not just wishing me a speedy recovery, but also asking me to thank Vicky for keeping them posted. Surgery came. Recovery was awful. Joe would not leave my side. Vicky and I tried to convince him to take a break, and between us we managed to convince him to stay in a hotel for one night. I knew my children were in good hands with my mum, and their teachers were looking out for them at school too. The nurses were amazing, very patient with me. I'm a bad patient. They helped me learn to cope with the new me. It was told it would be a strong possibility that I would need radiation, and sure enough, as a precaution, 6 weeks after surgery, I started radiation. My medical team had strongly recommended that I went to London. 6 weeks, Monday to Friday. They wanted me to go to London. I could stay overnight, or we can go home at the weekends, but I would not see my children, and that was not a possibility. Joe had already taken so much time off work, and he'd only just gone back. Vicky called. She said you have many friends here who want to help you. They don't know what to do to help. They are waiting for you to ask. I think this is where they can help you. She started to make a list of the dates. They had to go to London, and ever so quickly, I had drivers for every day. Friends that I had known for years, some just a little while, but all of them rallied to help me. I had lunches and dinners brought to my house. My daughter's dance teacher sent a basket of things to help me in hospital. So did my children's school, and the wonderful people that I work with here at SJK. People kept asking me what they could do to help. I kept sending them to Vicky. Joe and I were just so overwhelmed. The last week of radiation was the roughest for me. My neck was peeling, it was purple and sore, and I started to say I don't want to go back. I'm done. They told Joe and Vicky, and they told me, there are a lot of people worse off than you. You have to go back. Just do it. And they were right. I had met a lovely lady who was all by herself getting radiation and chemo. On the phone, she broke down. I gave her a hug and asked her if she was okay. Yes, a daft question. Clearly I wasn't thinking. She told me that she had just been told that her cancer was terminal. She was at the appointment, alone. I looked at Joe sitting beside me. Every day since I had started radiation, I had had a good friend with me, supporting me.
Yeah.
I went and laid on the radiation table, thinking of that poor girl. The technicians came in, and for the first time put a CD on. Joe Cocker came out loud and clear for me. What would you think if I sang out a tune? Oh, I sang badly before surgery, and you really don't want to hear me now. Would you stand up and walk out to me? Lend me your ears and I will sing you a song, and I will try not to sing out of key. I get by with a little help from my friends. I have my friends. I am not alone. I cried. On the day of my last radiation treatment, my children went to school, so I thought, just a regular day for them. I asked Vicky to come down with me and Joe. I wanted her there with me. But I walked out of the treatment area ready to bang the gong with all my might. A signal to all that my treatment is over, thank goodness. There in the waiting room was a big group of my friends, with balloons and blowers and signs, and grass skirts for me to wear. I remember seeing my children, and the tears came. Then I looked at Vicky's husband, Paul, who was holding up his phone. And there was my sister, on the phone, supporting me all the way from England. She had been there every step of the way too. More tears.
Debbie?
So I'm telling you today that I am lucky. I am lucky that I am alive. I am lucky to have a new voice. I am lucky that I can think and my inner voice can be heard. Most of all, I am lucky to have my friends and family that have supported me through all that I have been through. I am lucky that they have wanted to help me, because without them I would not have got through half of what I did. Without a little help from my friends.